Fill all my vision, every desire, keep for your glory, my soul inspired, and with your perfection and your holy love, flooding my pathway with light from above. And fill all my vision, Savior divine, till with your glory my spirit shall shine. Fill all my vision, that all may see your holy image reflected in me, reflected in me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jason Goodson.
And I'm Johnny Taylor.
It is Tuesday, January 21st, 10:22 p.m., and we are a day early. We usually do this on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
We usually have set schedule, and we rearrange some things.
And then things got rearranged.
Things get rearranged. You know how it works out. That stuff
But we're
happens all the
still
time.
here,
So, but the opportunity to sit here and do this tonight has been interesting. It's been an interesting few hours. I just want to start off with that right now.
I went and bounced around the yard.
I did not go and witness this, but I believe JT when he says he went out and bounced around the yard. Tell him why he bounced around the yard, JT. Or maybe you want to keep that to yourself. Maybe that's the intimate moment we're going to talk about tonight. Behind the closed door.
Because of a picture of a baby goat.
Oh, that's right.
Childhood memories. Gotta be like a child every now and then.
Absolutely. Now, what if they were told to, don't hinder the little ones from coming?
Don't hinder the little ones, children to come unto me.
Come unto me, right. Man, there's some, at best, I know that before I came over to here tonight, I had a moment. Tripp brought his tractor in with his little connector, the little trailer that comes in behind it. He couldn't put it together.
Yeah.
Help, Daddy, help. So what am I going to do? Sit on the couch and do nothing? So I get up on all fours, crawl over to him and put the thing together. And of course he starts rolling it, making the noise, and I stick my hand out in front of it and I scream. He just thinks it's the best thing ever,
Oh, my.
And so we palled around on the floor for a little bit and of course acted like a kid, and it was kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to each his own, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff. I can tell you this. We had a day off yesterday due to the holiday.
Yeah.
And I started a burn pile. I've had this burn pile started for
Just about since the house was built.
pretty much. And this burn pile is turned into a half of a playground that was knocked over to the full. Like I finally rolled it over and it completed the project. So now I just got to light it at some point. And what we're going to do at some point is light that bad boy. Well,
all I need to do it is it starts to rain.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So much going on. It's pretty dry out there too. So we're kind of waiting. But yesterday I had such a great time. I sat out there, went ahead, pulled that over, got that done, repaired the backboard.
Yeah.
Cause, 2 days after we put it up, for Christmas, there come a windstorm and knocked it over. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. Got another backboard, put it up, and I set it in a different spot to where the wind is not hitting the backboard straight on.
Yeah.
And now I have the backboard where just the wind comes across it this way. And so it's less likely to, tip over.
Yeah.
But It's full of water now. Like we had it full of water beforehand, but we got 2 different blocks on it now. Hopefully it will stay
Yeah.
to where we're gonna have to do that. But it was fun because all the kids were outside. We were playing softball, basketball, bouncing the ball to Zoe, just doing different things. And it was a good time to be with the kids. And on Mondays, traditionally in the afternoons, we go to our buddy's house and hang out. And it's a really good time, for us to be able to, for me, it's a restful time. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a break from what I call reality almost.
Yeah.
It's like going on a mini vacation once a week to this house and being able to sit there and enjoy the company of good friends. And, we watched a video of that. How long ago did you make that video for Steve Miller video?
I can't, maybe 2006, 2005.
I think it was around that time.
Sometime around then.
I remember him showing it to me for the first time in Florida. And let me just explain a little bit. Steve Miller is a speaker. When did you meet Steve? I know we've done this before on podcasts, but it's been a while. But
I met Steve in 2004.
Was it?
Was it 2004? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know. You're the one that I remember hearing about him from you for the first time. But anyway, Steve Miller is a buddy of ours who lives in Maryland, and just has a unique ability to be able to present clearly the message of the gospel of Christ in the Old Testament. And he does such a good job of just painting this picture. Well, on our Facebook page, the Coffee and Conversations page, there is a 45-minute video about Noah that I would highly recommend for the listeners to watch.
Yeah.
And you just get some time where you can listen to it. And like at Ross's house the other day, we plugged it into the TV, or he did it however he does it. Roku, yeah. But through YouTube, it's a YouTube file, and just want to encourage you to go watch it. And I text Steve today and just told him how blessed I was to be able to sit and watch it again, and how I forget how easy it is for me to forget that the message of the gospel, the message of Christ is not hard. How easy it is to present the truth of the scripture in such a way that points out Christ in very symbolic, it just opens up the pictures of all that. And of course I get emotional every time I see the video, and just remember, cause I remember the first time I heard the video and just really listened to what was being said and just being floored, and just some of the, cause JT had been telling me about this guy. We got to listen to this. We got to do this. And finally, I think we were at a camp together. I was leading worship at the time, playing the guitar and singing, and JT shows up and shows this video and just rocks me a little bit. But I just want to encourage you to watch it. It's good. It's well worth your time.
Good video.
Very good video. We tonight have put on the whiteboard. If you go look at the whiteboard, you're going to go, wow, deep thoughts.
Might take you a while to read all of it.
I'll tell you though, there just wasn't nothing else to put on the board tonight, but also, JT and I have sat here and looked over things and talked and just thought, wow, that's it, so we posted it. That's our whiteboard time for tonight. And you're probably thinking, wow, not much going to happen tonight on the podcast. But there's so much stuff here, that we could cover. I just think part of the cool part of doing the conversations like this is we can just talk about what's on our heart, whatever that is. And, basically, I don't know, man, trying to tear that apart is pretty difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not something you just tear apart, but
no.
Because it's not something that, and we talked about, It's not about doing something,
Yeah.
and it's not about externals. It's not about,
It's about an internal stillness.
Yeah, exactly. Cause I can probably illustrate it in a few ways.
I can go to sleep and be real still.
Right.
But it's a whole different matter of internal stillness.
Last night, for example, there's nights that I go to sleep and get still, but man, when my mind is not still, I am not resting, and I'm not at rest, and I find myself waking up being all upset and discombobulated, and have to go and just do something. And that's a part. That's like a physical illustration. But what I'm saying is that, and there's no peace on the inside. There's no me resting. And I put the quotes up to, kind of illustrate that, because that's a spiritual picture too. Cause if I'm not quiet on the inside, it's a different story for me, and it pretty easily. And it's not about, it's good, and it's really good to pause and reflect. And, I was talking about this. It's not even about, how well you do it, or how well someone tries to be still, but it's about what you're saying on the inside, resting on the inside.
Yeah.
And seeing that. JT, I think there's so much stuff in here. Different quotes and things. I don't know about you. This may be a quotable podcast.
Could be.
Could be a quotable podcast.
I'm liking the last A.W. Tozer quote I posted a while ago.
Did you post that on the Facebook page?
Yeah, on Coffee and Conversation.
Good.
It says, the work of Christ on the cross did not influence God to love us, did not increase that love by 1 degree, did not open any fount of grace or mercy in his heart. He had loved us from old eternity and needed nothing to stimulate that love. The cross is not responsible for God's love. Rather, it was his love which conceived the cross as the one method by which we could be saved. God felt no different toward us after Christ had died for us, for in the mind of God, Christ had already died before the foundation of the world. God never saw us except through atonement. The human race could not have existed one day in its fallen state had not Christ spread his mantle of atonement over it. And this he did in eternal purpose long ages before they led him out to die on the hill above Jerusalem. All God's dealings with man have been conditioned upon the cross. See, there is no before the cross.
Mm-hmm. Right.
As far as God's concerned.
It just always has been.
Yeah.
Infinite. And in our time frame, eternity past.
Yeah.
Present, future. That's cool, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that sort of rocks the whole idea behind us trying to prove everything too. In no way is Tozer here trying to, I think he's trying to tear apart the human mindset there.
Oh, yeah.
Of it all, because it's hard to wrap your mind around all that. Because I tell you, if you're one of those that can totally pick that up, and God never saw us except through atonement.
Yeah.
That's a mind blower. I think those kind of things.
Is that
if you never ever thought about it, that's a mind blower.
Well, the sacrifice for skins to cover Adam and Eve was just a picture of the cross.
Exactly.
Making atonement. Covering.
Right.
As Steve said in his video, the pitch.
The pitch. Yes.
Same that covered the ark inside and out was the same.
Right.
Same word for atonement.
So good, man.
Even the train blew its horn. Amen, says the train.
That could have been more perfect if I ever heard it or not. I hope that catches on to the
Well, it wasn't very loud, but we heard it. So.
Oh my goodness. Man. Why is it hard to be still, JT? Why do you, I mean, let's just throw that out, because.
You see people all the time that stay noisy to keep from taking a good look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If I create a bunch of voices,
Right.
and I don't have to listen to the voices that tell me the truth.
It's because we talked about this earlier, but I feel like it's very hard for me to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard for me to sit down and just be still. And I talked about this earlier, is that I could never, at the present state of my life where I am at right now, that's the most difficult thing I deal with, probably. And I'm not even like, and just in the honesty of it all, I'm not even looking to do it.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's not going to, for me right now, being quiet on the inside is the best part of, and resting on the inside and not trying to actually, I don't know the correct way to say that, but other than trying to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with somebody else doing it. I'm just saying that for me personally, I struggle with it.
It's that whole thing. Some people, God made some people in such a way they need some time of quiet.
Right.
And I guess a level of reflection. If I get that quiet and still, I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Pretty much me.
Mm-hmm.
If that's about the only time I ever get physically that quiet and still.
Right.
But there's a quietness. The quiet and still has to be on the inside.
Right.
I think, and one of the things that encouraged me in that was when I read Practice the Presence of God, and Brother Lawrence was like, he didn't care about any set aside times to be quiet. He wanted to go about his work.
Right.
Because God was not any less present.
Right.
His inner peace and quiet didn't change from one place to the other. Being quiet on the outside did not cause him to be more quiet on the inside.
Right.
But that's the way God made him.
Right. That's cool, man. Because I think part of the reason maybe is that it was so beat into me growing up in church.
Yeah.
That I had to have a quiet time.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, and I'm talking about now, God's more pleased with us when, and part of that was, God's more pleased with us when we have our quiet time. God can bless you more when we have, these type things. And it was instilled in me that, it was such important. I remember, I have journals. I have old journals in my dusty old boxes about days going off that I wrote in my journal, what I read and having to write about it and, different things like that.
Yeah.
It just burned me for a long time for wanting to read the Bible, wanting to do that kind of thing, because I was so caught up in the fact that I was trying to please God in that action instead of just, enjoying God through it. But I was too worried about the externals instead of worrying about what was going on the inside, and just enjoying and just enjoying that time. But it just, like I said, it just ruined me, I think, for life on it,
funny thing, like for me, it's like what helps me be quiet on the inside is I love to go out and take pictures of nature and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do that for an hour and come back and I'm quiet on the inside now.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about stopping and doing anything. It was
Right.
about what gets my inside focused again. Going around bouncing in the yard a while ago was majorly quietening to the inside.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
So it's what does God use in you? How did He
Right.
make you?
Right. That's good.
What quiets your inside? Because He's put something there that does.
Yeah. That's pretty good, man. That'd be a good thing for people to find out.
Oh yeah,
What, just to recognize that part.
yeah,
Because we all have that within us.
yeah. There's
Yeah. Absolutely.
the uniqueness that God has made us, because He's expressing Himself, and He's infinite.
Absolutely.
And so all the unique things about you, He's just expressing Himself
Mm-hmm.
through you.
Right.
It's amazing. Of course, our flesh loves to warp those things, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
they're there, and there's a reason.
Well, that's a good one. Chew on that one for a second. Man.
I remember
Wow. That's good.
our friend Dave Busby. I remember a long time ago, somebody asked him a question and answer thing about, well, what kind of quiet time do you have every day? And remember Dave saying, well, I don't have a quiet time every day.
Mm-hmm.
But about once or twice a week, I go for 3-4 hours, just
Right.
quiet, studying, praying, because he said that's what recharges me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like 30 minutes every day, just don't get it. That's
Right.
what he said.
Right. Oh,
And
gosh.
I remember seeing people's mouths. What?
I think we get bound by the formula a
Yeah.
lot. Bound by it.
Rather than
Right.
finding our relationship with God,
Mhm.
that's what quiets us.
Mhm.
Not a formula of a relationship,
Right.
but the actual relationship.
Yeah. The unique relationship that He's
the
created with you.
uniqueness.
With you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Gosh. You know, there's so much there. Gosh. I love, we talk about knowing God quite a bit in the being still part. We talk about that. We talk about just wanting to know God.
Yeah.
And man, what a better way to know God in the unique
Yeah.
way that God has created the stillness within you.
I'm going to say something here. When you take the uniqueness that God has put in you, in your relationship with Him, and turn it into a method for others, it's religion.
Woo. Absolutely.
Because He prepared that for you.
Whoa. That give me chills, man. Sorry. Man, that's really good. Yeah. That's really good.
And you know,
Well, that was
and people will tell you, well, you aren't really meeting with God. Let me tell you, if you're meeting with God, you'll know you're meeting with God.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't be, well, I wonder if this is,
If I'm doing the right thing here.
or if this is God. Well, you'll know if
You'll
you're
know
really
it,
meeting
yeah.
with Him.
Man. That's good. Yeah. That's a way to, oof, man, I was just sitting there, I'm thinking about, man, there's so many thoughts running through my brain.
I've seen Jason sit down and play his guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and seen him get quiet on the inside.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Wasn't quiet on the outside, but you could see his inside get quiet.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the ways, man, for sure. Unique expression there. Yeah. All right. I need to play my guitar more. I know what you're trying to say to me over there. I know. I've been avoiding it. Oh man.
It's funny because in that quietness is when God shows you just how messed up you are.
Oh man.
But it's also the times He
Oh,
just
man.
bear hugs you.
Absolutely.
in the midst of your mess.
Yeah, man. Those are the moments you feel like God, you really understand that, embracing unique intimacy with God that he has for you and has for me as well. So, wow. I don't want to try to invent. I find myself trying to invent formulas to try to do that too. For myself, instead of just doing what comes natural with that.
Let me
and I always say doing, but you know what I mean by that. Becoming
the
natural part of that.
Let me tell you how crazy this is. I've never gone and bounced around the yard before, other than when I was a kid. But that was a while ago. That was as important as if I'd have prayed for 8 hours. That 30 seconds out in the yard.
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely. What else you gonna say to that, man?
What was it? A.W. Tozer, the speaking voice. You never know where that's speaking.
Oh, man.
It's everywhere.
Always expressing himself.
Yep.
Always.
Got me in a picture of a goat today.
Always expressing himself.
Reminded me of who he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little bitty fuzzy goat.
That's good. It's an interesting perspective. Very interesting. It really is, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. Find what's unique. Be yourself in that process too, without trying to create a have to and a formula and
I certainly
dig
wouldn't
up
tell
all
people
that. Yeah.
you need to look at a picture of a baby goat and then go bounce around in the yard.
Yes.
If
And
you really want to be closer to your
oh, listen, we can, here's what we could do, JT. We could send out postcards of that furry goat and say, if you do this, no, just kidding.
Come touch the goat.
Come touch the goat and jump around in the yard and you will feel the presence of God.
It's a holy goat.
It's a, and you know what? That's, and Steve even talked about that in the video. People trying to market Jesus in such a way that's attractive, or God in such a way that's attractive. And yes, you and I could come up and conceivably conceive a way to do a mass marketing, and we could do all that stuff. And there'd be people jumping around in their yards.
Yep.
Just to try to find that way. Some way to do that.
Because, like we said in the podcast a few weeks back, they would rather be somebody else as to be themselves.
Right. Well, I think that is a good word for tonight. I think it says exactly what needs to be said. Thanks for listening. What's our situation? Are we here next week?
I'm here next week.
We are. Okay. I'm here next week.
You are here next week?
It's 2 weeks and it's not.
I was thinking you were gone next week.
No, I'll be gone next weekend, but I'll be
here next
Wednesday, and then the next Wednesday I'll be out.
Okay.
So, we'll see you next week for sure.